to be back here now, it's just mind-blowing to me. And because everything I've got, I owe to this town. Everything. I would never be in the wrestling if it wasn't for coming to this town. I wouldn't have met my wife when I was 17, who I'm still married to. I wouldn't have, two of my children were born at the Victoria Hospital here. All the entertainment, all the wrestling and entertainment skills I learned all started here. You know, the wrestling started here and then it progressed to learning with other people. But all the entertaining skills that have got me through a career of this, everything was learnt in this town, watching shows here and watching comedians and having friends who are in the business and just studying them. And every night after I used to finish wrestling, I was in either a show or a club, watching some comic, watching the timing and watching how they react, make people, or in the circus watching the clowns, how do they make people laugh and how do they do this, and studying entertainment. So it's wonderful to be back here. I mean, this is a life-changing opportunity for people tomorrow for this tournament. But they all deserve, it shouldn't be. I'm not one of the. I hate the old wrestling mentality. Back in my day, we never had these chances. Yes, we did. If you went out, it might have took longer, but nobody. It was if you were around at the time, you had the opportunities if you were good enough and if you learnt enough and if you looked the part and whatever else. In my case, being 6'3" helped a lot, and having the right training and being not expected to be any good for the first few years, right? But these fellas are going to get opportunity. It can skyrocket everything for them tomorrow, but they've still got to be good enough to carry it. There's no easy way, and there's nothing easy about what any of these fellas are doing. So you'll have those old wrestlers that'll go, oh, well, they're getting things we never had. Well, okay, they may be getting that opportunity, but they've got to carry their bit of it. They've got to be able to do it, and if they can't, it's not going to work, right? So there's more pressure on them tomorrow than the fellas that are going to be here. There's more pressure on them than anything I've ever had to do. They're getting thrown in like the big leagues. From whatever they've done before, this is the biggest show in the world, right? There's no one thing. Number one thing overall is, do they actually look like they can beat somebody up? Because a lot of wrestlers don't. And to me, that it'll work for so long that, but in the long term, you've got to actually look like you can do something, really. Then it's, have they got any skills? Have they got a certain amount of charisma? Watching them actually on shows, watching people on film is one thing, but when you go and see them live and watching them close up, this is another big thing to me. What will it look like if it was showed in slow motion? Because you can do all kinds of fancy things or kinds of different. If we replay it and it's in slow motion and it looks terrible, that's your credibility out the window. So hopefully, I mean, literally there could be 16 stars made tomorrow night, because you just never know you never know how people are going to react or people are going to perform, or something that somebody somewhere could see something in somebody tomorrow that connects with them. And if you're the right people, see who's that? Never heard of him. Who's that? Well, let's give him an opportunity. Who's that? Well, wow. Or they just have an incredible match tomorrow, or they walk through the curtain and within 2 seconds they just light the room up with the charisma. You never know what you're going to get.
Can you see the place?
All over the place. Wrestling's come back into its own again in this country. British people love wrestling. It's just part of what we like to do. It's the second biggest market. Think about the size of Britain, and it's the WWE's second biggest market out of 180 countries that we get seen in. People love that live entertainment and that interaction. We're a nation of people who like to chant and cheer and join in with whatever we're watching. That works great with wrestling, right? Magic. If you've never been into that building, you can't help but be in awe when you walk in. There's an atmosphere to that Empress Ballroom that's incredible. That's why a lot of bands want to play there, right? It's a fantastic venue. It's a great wrestling venue. You're going to have 16 fellas who, a lot of these people that are coming will know. Maybe one or two they don't, but you know, because wrestling's so popular here at the moment, these fellas all work for the companies like Progress and ICW, and they all work for the companies that have got big followings over here, so they're already known to the fans. If you're watching, doesn't matter where you're watching the rest of the world, if somebody comes out and there's 2,000 people going mad for them, you're all of a sudden interested in them.